Okay, welcome everybody to the Referral Challenge Q&A Mastermind call for Friday, March 2nd. The only update I want to do real quick is just to talk about, well, two things. Local by referral Monday. I know it's still a little late, but this Monday coming for sure. And then the other thing is, now that I need to share my screen one more time, I want to show this because Michael Hogan had asked a question about this in the group, about Smart Start group marketing regarding use of a domain name and where it should point. In fact, let me just read his question here so it's real clear. He said, "Hey, Eric, when we bought the domain for Get Fit Your Town, are we using this as the URL for the Smart Start landing page? And then if we are, do we use a subdomain for the Habit Maker page?" So the subdomain question is a little bit, I think you might be a little unclear on some things, but I wanted to clarify the use of the domain and my thoughts on it. So with your Smart Start group, which is your Get Fit Your Town Facebook group, essentially you've got two resources. You've got your Smart Start group page, which of course is mandatory. You've got to have a group. And then you've got your Smart Start landing page, which is optional but recommended. And that's where you could put that video that we showed you how to create, or you could create your own video or whatever. It's a pre-selling landing page that you squeeze and you get the opt-in. Everybody understands how the landing page works. So those are the two resources. The objectives, of course, are to capture a qualified lead. And email is the most important. And then second to that is you get them in the group. And then third, of course, if you can get them on Messenger or something like that. But the highest priority is to get an email lead. Well, then the second objective, of course, is to convert that lead to a nutrition customer and or a fitness client. So there's two ways to capture people. You can drive people to opt in on your landing page. And if you do that, you'll get 100% email lead capture, because anybody who wants to go beyond that has got to give you their email. Unless, of course, you're using just a button that goes directly to your Facebook group, which is another option. But if you're using an opt-in form, you'll get 100% email lead capture. Number two is they can opt in from your welcome pin post after joining. So if they haven't gone to the landing page and you're sending them directly to your group instead, then in that pin post where you tell them, hey, if you want the Habit Maker journal and such, then you just opt in to get that. But there you'll probably get only 50% plus, and I suppose as you work them, you'll get more. But I think initially probably only 1 out of 2 will opt in for that sequence or for the Habit Maker. But then over time, you should be able to convert more of them. I doubt you'll get up to 100%. However, you will get, I believe, greater volume in your group by not squeezing them beforehand and instead squeezing them after they're in the group, giving them the option to give you their email after they've seen the value. So that there's a benefit there, I think. So the question, of course, which capture process leads to the higher conversion? Because that's ultimately why we're doing this, is to convert. And the only way to know that is to test. And that's why we want to provide options to you. So there's no hard and fast rule. You can use that domain to point towards your landing page, or you can get 2 domains. You could have one pointing to your landing page, one pointing towards your group. And then you could test different things. Because, like, for instance, if you're writing a post in Facebook, just a general post about how to get started in fitness the smart way or something like that, and it's not a paid advertisement, it's just a post, I would just include that raw link to your Facebook group. I wouldn't try and drive them outside to a landing page or anything like that, because I think that will decrease conversions, decrease the number of leads that you get. So there's a lot of options. That's the bottom line. There's no hard and fast rule. But a good rule of thumb, I believe, is that if you have enough space or time to pre-sell the group's benefits, then I suggest sending them right to the group rather than to the landing page. And pre-selling, that could be done in an email, a Facebook post, as I just mentioned, a video that you put on Facebook or somewhere else. If you have enough time to tell them about the benefits, then I'd send them right to the group and not try and squeeze them beforehand. But if you don't have enough time to pre-sell the benefits, then, like on a business card, if you're just putting a URL or a blurb on your business card, or a PS in an email or a small blurb or some other marketing collateral. If you only have a little bit of space and not much time or anything like that, then I would send them definitely to the landing page, because they need to understand the benefits before they are going to be enticed enough to opt in. Okay, so that's all. I just wanted to share that. If you guys have any questions or anything about that, we can cover it. If not, it was predominantly for Mike Hogan. Any questions on that, guys? No. Good. All right, cool. Very good. Okay, well, it's good seeing you guys. Again, just saw Mike and Rick last Friday at Pat's Mastermind, which was a lot of fun. It's good stuff. It went too fast, I thought, for me at least. I was only there a short period of time, but I had to bug out. But boy, what a good group! I think you some sharp folks in that group. So I enjoyed my time. Aaron, do you have any updates?
No, sir.
All right, cool. Well, then let's get right into it. Mike, want to start with you and say again, boy, oh boy, how exciting it must be for you right now. Aaron, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Mike showed us the software. You seen it? Yeah.
He showed me a bit of it yesterday. I tried to scratch and claw to get more, but, using programmer as an excuse, he wasn't able to show me everything. But, dude, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
From what I saw in Orlando, and he told me he's got more to show me here, I'm pretty freaking excited.
Yeah. Chris, it's if you don't know, he's turned his product now into a software. That staff training product is now a real software as a service, and it's beautiful, and it's going to make Mike probably. I think you do it right. I think you'll get rich off this. Really,
I do too.
Same thing I told him yesterday.
I think you'll get tired of the gym business real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, just turn it over to me, and I'll take care of it. You can stay in the gym.
I actually, I have a meeting with him tomorrow morning at, we're meeting really early, 4:30 a.m. We're meeting. And there's some cool stuff that we've been talking about doing in terms of being able to let guys be able to put their own scripts in it. So like Rick. So for instance, if we can almost like integrate it with Pro Diet. So guys that have Pro Diet, they can essentially turn on this level of the software, and their admin will now be able to implement everything that has to do with Pro Diets. If somebody has, let's say that
Ultimate Supplement Sales System.
Ultimate Supplement Sales System like that. Let's say that, I don't know, let's say, Aaron, you had a bunch of sales copy, or you had a bunch of like emails or whatever, like scripts that people wanted. You could essentially, could sell it within the software, and people would be able to just click it and upload it right in. So like the ROI multiplier came with all of the scripts that we use here, because that was the only way to really show people how it worked. So then they could go in and tweak all of the systems and the sales scripts. Like, so if they didn't have a sports performance facility, then obviously our emails and our call scripts and stuff like that probably weren't going to be perfect for them. But we had to put them in there so people could kind of see how the system really worked. In this situation, it would allow somebody, like anybody really, if you had your, well, I shouldn't say anybody that we trusted to work with, would be able to put their thing in there. So let's say that Rick has a funnel, or he has something set up for Pro Diets for fitness professionals, and it's to kind of funnel in the local market into getting nutrition coaching only or whatever. If Rick could actually sell that and be like an added bonus if you had the system, because it just easily implements in, instead of you having to take it and put it into your email server or put it into your text messaging server, whatever you do. Kind of talking about ways of that being done. So he already has it laid out like a framework for me to take a look at that. But
that's beautiful.
The home base and stuff. The home base is, I showed Aaron a little bit of that home base. I didn't get to show you guys that last week.
Me about it.
Yeah, and I showed yesterday. I showed Aaron but he didn't get to see some of the stuff that you guys saw either. So, but
I see where I ranked on the totem pole, dude. I see.
But yeah, it's,
You
it's
actually saw the
gonna be awesome.
version, Aaron. Yeah, but that's interesting, and you should talk to about that strategy that you just mentioned, Mike. Are Kane and Trevor at Coach Catalyst, because they've done a real good job of doing just exactly what you just described. The other thing that you want to look at is, like, once you're beta and everything's kicking ass and moving along nicely, is reaching out to like MindBody and Zen Planner and saying, hey, look what I've got. Why don't you refer all your people to this, because it just makes your stuff even stickier and easier to use, that kind of thing. And you get them referring, as referral partners to you.
I actually do have to. I talked with Kane last week, and we definitely made a plan we got to get on the phone. It's been crazy this week with everything for the brick and mortar and everything with the everything going on with the lease and everything. And then also my wife is due on the 10th, so we're trying to schedule all the calls and everything is tough. But I definitely have that. We definitely spoke about getting together and seeing how we could kind of work together with it. So I'm excited about that too.
Well, and I can find out more about that for you, because we're doing some integration with Pro Diets and Coach Catalyst too.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's just a lot to be able to partner with guys that have great stuff and allow them to be able to make their stuff really more accessible and easier for business owners to implement in their business, because their admin can simply do it in 2 seconds for them. So they don't actually technically have to do it. The admin will do it.
Right. Well, let me just put our name in the hat to be on that list, because we would like to be able to put some of the referral challenge stuff in there. Build that. However, we just like to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because.
Awesome.
Yeah, and plus, and here's the thing. I mean, this is all it's to be determined, but I mean, I believe in it strongly. With the local by referral, I think there's an opportunity for us to grow the list just substantially, very quickly, and it won't just be fitness professionals; it'll be all sort of small businesses, and from there, be a great lead source. We'd love to be able to monetize by pushing them into your thing. And getting a piece of that action on a monthly basis, because awesome. That's the other thing you need to look at is setting up that affiliate program.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. That's why we meet at 4:30 in the morning, because
there's so much to do. Oh, the book I was trying to remember to tell you about, Mike, is The Lean Startup. That's the book you want to look at. The Eric Ries, I forget how you pronounce his name, Ries. But all he's got a couple lean books out there, but those are the ones you want to start reading and reviewing. And
awesome. I will. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, good. So Mike, give us an update on your fitness business. How are things going there? What about the cannabis issue? Is anything new on the horizon there?
Yeah, I mean, things are going well. We had a ton of leads. I got a ton of assessments last week. Last week up until I left, and this week I've been completely full. Next week is completely full too. We had to stop blocking spots towards the end of the week because I was paranoid. We might have to call some people depending on what happens with my wife in terms of, because I'm doing all the assessments. We've been running Facebook ads for our MRT program in the morning, and similar to what we do with the 21-day detox. Remember I told you about that? We do it the same way. We do the ad. We get them on the phone. We charge them a $29.99 assessment fee to come in for the assessment right away. That fee gets subtracted off their price, which for us, we're running this 1 month for $99. They come in and we sell them right there on, similar to exactly what Rick does. Sell them right there, that initial assessment, sell them on going long term. It's up to them to actually cancel it within the 30 days if they want to. If not, it's just going to roll over. So, we signed up 4 last week for that, and then 2 of them I actually turned into semi-private clients as well. So that's been going really well. In terms of the other issue, I've been meeting with people inside of our facility in terms of residents of the town. So one is I think might have told you guys this is a defense attorney. One is a state trooper, and I've met with them, and they've been kind of putting a little bit of a push. The thing that kind of came out which is kind of sucks, is the first thing that's on the ballot. It's on the 19th. It's not a ballot. It's like it's a special town meeting, so it's going to be like a hand vote. The first thing is the legalization of or passing recreational usage of marijuana. So that's the thing that's drawn a lot of attention. The second thing on there is the rezoning of the building that we're in. So people are going, I'm worried that what's going to happen is people are going to go there all focused on the legalization of the recreational marijuana. They vote that down, but now Amendment 2 is to rezone the buildings where we are. And if we, not saying the reason why, because that hasn't come out in the paper and stuff, it's not saying why they want to rezone it. The selectmen are saying, oh, we don't know why they want to rezone it.
It'll come out at that meeting.
Yeah, hopefully it will, and hopefully people will understand there. So essentially what's going to happen is if that fails, the first one in terms of the recreational marijuana gets shot down, and then they do pass the rezoning, it's going to take us from being in a district that is not zoned for medicinal marijuana either, and it's going to put us into a zone that is now zoned for medicinal marijuana. So it's going to come in anyway. So essentially for us to really win, we have to get the rezoning shot down. So that's been really my push with everybody. I have it's going to the planning board on Tuesday, the 6th, and I have a Zoom call scheduled for everybody that's in our private Facebook group, where I'm going to talk kind of about some of the things that we talked about already, in terms of the core values and that kind of thing. And I'm going to tell them exactly what they offered, and I'm going to tell them everything. And the reason why we're turning it down, and hopefully we can get a good enough turnout to shut it down. If not, like last week I wasn't on the call because that wasn't last week, the week before, I was I've been looking at different spots. So I found one that's only like 2 miles from here. It's going to be a lot of work, but I mean, we can definitely make it happen. It's just going to be a big investment. It's going to be a big investment too. So I talked with Aaron a little bit about that yesterday too. But I'm trying to also juggle it because I don't want to have to. I want to be able to wait till the 19th before I make a determination. Because even if we end up having to leave here, we're still going to have a good 6 to 8 months at least before everything gets kind of where we have to leave. So
yeah, it's a fluid situation, but it sounds like you're making all the right moves. I would advertise that Zoom call hard in your group.
Yeah, I posted, so on all of our daily posts, I put a little bit kind of like teasers almost like. And I told them today that it's not going to be posted in the group afterwards. There's not going to be a recording of it or any of that stuff. So they got to make sure they're on it. They don't want to miss it.
That's smart.
So, Mike, what did you find out, if anything, about the school property?
So actually, I found out. So I spoke with the. What Aaron's referring to is there's a school that I was told was for sale right down the street, only not even half a mile from me. That's been sitting there for 3 years, and I heard it was a sweet deal in terms of the price. So I actually spoke with the superintendent, the former superintendent, because I train his kid, who was there when they actually closed down the school, and he said the school is in great condition. But it was 3 years ago, so he's not sure like if they've maintained everything since then. The concern he said he had was that if the boiler was to go or something like that, it's going to be big bucks to fix that. Long story short, though, I talked with the town administrator yesterday, and they told me that the property is not currently listed for sale, but it's going to be going to auction in the next like 6 months or so. So we'll see. There's a lot of potential there too to be able to sublease inside of that. Yeah. If I was to purchase it, they told me that it was for sale for only $200,000, and which is like crazy cheap. So it sounded way too good to be true. But I don't know what they wouldn't even get to give me. They don't even have a starting point of what the bidding would be at or anything either. So. But we'll see what happens then.
Sometimes those auctions, you can end up getting a sweet deal because the word doesn't get out. I've just heard that. I've never actually been involved in one, but I've heard, and if the word does get out, it can get bidded up to a crazy price.
Yeah, it would give us a ton of. My brother played professional baseball in the Red Sox organization for 7 years, and then one of our other coaches here too is a former professional MMA fighter. So there's a lot of room for us to do some like camp type stuff too.
Yeah.
We'll see, man.
Yeah, and you could also have a software development company in there.
Yeah, that's right. Charge it, paying big bucks for rent.
Yeah. All right, good. Hey, real quick though, Mike, let me go back to the Facebook ads driving. How are you running your own ads?
No.
You have somebody doing it.
Yeah.
All right, and are you you're getting good lead flow, and are you happy with your numbers, the conversion process?
Yeah, our numbers are. We're actually, I just reached out to the guy the other day because I'm probably going to change it. I actually want to see if I can I want to see if he can drive traffic to a lead magnet for me for the online business for the next month, because it's been pretty crazy. If not, we got to go back to our athlete training in the evening, because it's our mornings are going to getting pretty jammed, especially with all the evals I have next week for it. If I have to add all those people, and we talked about this on a call before with Chris, in terms of, you know, what do you do when you add so many new people at once? It's tough to especially in a group setting like that. You know, you're adding 5 or 6 new people to a group of already 4 or 5 new people, 4 or 5 or 6 people that have already been kind of going for a while. It can be kind of that onboarding piece. That first session gets kind of crazy. So
Yeah.
we got to do something in terms of either I got to start trying to push them towards more so semi-private when they come in, or I got to change the ad back to semi-private for a while to give us some time, but the groups are getting pretty good. If I can convert all the people, I got 2 left today, and if I can convert all the people next week to it, we're going to definitely have to shut it down for the MRT and go back to evenings. It's just killing me because we're just handcuffed with this whole lease thing, because it's really pissing me off in terms of, I just feel like frustrated in terms of just stagnant, you know?
All right. Very good. Chris, let's jump down to you. Let us know how things are going, and anything we can help you with.
Yeah, things are going pretty well. We're in the middle of revamping our sales process right now, because just with Camellia, you know, going through the numbers and tracking and all of that, we're seeing some holes. So we're in the process of revamping that, just going back through our system. So I guess one of my questions today for you guys would be to share with me, when you have an FEO, you have front-end offer out there, and you guys are bringing those leads in, are you scheduling them for the consultations first? And then, even though they've signed up for the FEO, whether maybe it's a 14-day trial or something like that, and are you trying to convert them right then and there? I think Mike just alluded to it when he was talking at that point of sale. Or, you know, do you have them go into the trial for 14 days, and then at the end of the trial try to make the sale then? So this is kind of the discussions we've been having. Camellia and I have been going back and forth about it. So I just wanted to throw that out there to the group and see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, love to hear your thoughts on that, Mike and Rick.
Run that one by me again. I'm sorry, I was answering the phone, Chris.
So if you have a trial, if a new lead comes in the door for a 14-day trial, they raise their hand, say, I'm interested in doing a trial for your program off of a Facebook ad. You bring them in initially for the first step being the consult. Even though they raise their hand for a trial, you try to sell them on your program then, and then apply that fee to their membership. Or do you let them do the trial to build the trust, build the relationship with you, and do the sale at the end of the 14-day trial?
Okay, well, my system is different than that. Okay, I'm doing longer trials, obviously. Even my test drive is 6 weeks. It's really nothing different than a 6-week challenge. It's just that I rebranded it to call it 6-week test drive. So when they come in, I talk to them, they fill out the form, I talk to them on the phone. They come in, and yes, 1, they're signing up for it when they come in, and 2, I'm doing that non-closed close that I use up front.
Right.
You familiar with how we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yep.
How I get them to, that they're locking in, but not committing to it. So my process is no different on a trial like that than it is with a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think with that 14-day trial, it's a free trial, correct?
It's a paid. We only do paid trials.
Okay, so I would still kind of approach it the same way. They come in for the trial, they're paying, and then I present them and I tell them, look, we're going to address this right now, because this is a question that we always have. Everybody comes in, does a trial, wants to know what our program is afterwards. And then that's your chance to do that kind of non-closed close that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a 14-day trial, they have to give you maybe have to let you know within 10 days if they're going to continue or not.
Right.
And still put the burden and go through your process, and put the burden on them, make them responsible for letting you know if they're not going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can still, in that 14 days, schedule a desk date where you can sit down and talk to them about other things and get a feel for where they're at. And if they're not as comfortable as you think they should be, you can make your adjustments on the fly.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with Rick.
Pardon me? I'm sorry.
I agree with Rick.
So I'm a little blurry on it yet, Rick. I mean, so they come in to Chris's, his point that they come. Do you try to sell them on a full membership the first day they show up?
I do, yes. What I do, but I make them a fast action offer. So the way I do it, they come in and they're signing up for my 6-week challenge or a 14-day trial or whatever. And when they're in, and I say, okay, everybody's always interested in what it's going to cost after this 6 weeks. Right. Normally our program is a 6-month program and it's $169 a month. However, everybody that does a test drive or does one of these challenges, I give you the opportunity to lock in today. You're not committing to this. You're locking in the opportunity to receive an additional 2 months for free. But in order to help you out, we'll divide the payments over the entire 8 months instead of 6. So your payment comes to $126.75 instead of $169. So what happened there is I said all that stuff, all they have in their mind now is, oh, my price is going from $126 instead of $169.
And I get 2 months free, right?
Yeah. But I'm not going 2 months without getting money.
Right, right.
Then I say, however, okay, you are only locking this in today. You're not committing to it. In our case, it's a 6-week program. So I say you have up until 7 days before the end of the program to let me know if you're not going to continue. For whatever reason it may be, you don't like the colors of the paint. You don't like the programming we do. You see a before and after of somebody you can't stand. You don't like me, which is highly unlikely. But for whatever reason you don't like it, you just need to come let me know 7 days before the end of your trial, and nothing ever happens. However, I am setting this up in advance now because 6 weeks from now, you don't want me coming running around you and constantly bugging you. Aaron, did you make a decision what you're going to do? Aaron, are you going to continue with this? You're just not going to like it, and you're going to quit coming, and it's going to ruin your experience here. I hate doing it. So what we do instead is we make every member responsible for themselves, which is the way it should be. And every person always says, yeah.
Yeah.
We do essentially the same thing. I mean, not the same script and everything, but we essentially do the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's 21 days, we do 4 weeks, we do 14 days. They're all the exact same thing. Sign them up then, because the last thing you want to do is be stuck in a situation where, like, so for me, we have, yeah, and not only that, we also have people that, so like this week, I have people that would have to be sitting down with me meeting, but I'm full with other new people coming on board. I don't want to have those. It's almost like doing double sales sessions.
Exactly.
Essentially.
So now the only selling you're doing after that is showing these people a great experience in the facility, making sure they're having fun, making sure they're getting results, creating relationships with them, talking to them, putting your arms around these ladies, saying, hey, you're doing great. It's not going to happen overnight, but you're going in the right direction. That's your sales then, is basically being a personal trainer and being personal. And the rest takes care of itself.
All right. So just to put an exclamation point on this, when their 6-week trial is over, it is automatically assumed that if they did not cancel within 7 days, that you're charging them
the $126.75. Correct.
Yep.
How often does that kind of catch them by surprise?
We put a piece of paper right up on the wall that has everybody's start and end date.
Okay.
We send them 1 or 2 emails, like for the first 3 weeks, reminding them of it. So when they come back and say, I forgot that, I'm like, sorry, we made sure you knew it was posted here. I was very clear about it. You received 2 emails about it. Okay. And I do remember, again, when I'm going through that, I do tell them, I kind of stop short on that. I said, look, we do this because we make everybody responsible for everybody. And quite candidly, this eliminates the flakes in our program. I hate working with flakes. I have no tolerance for them. This is my way for eliminating them from our program and making sure anybody in this program is a good fit for my great clients in there. So they're not going to say they're a flake. If they come back, I say, wait a minute, we already talked about this flakiness. And nobody forgets that conversation. Nobody ever forgets that conversation.
Rick, I don't think that there's a person on the TRC that doesn't love you to death. How many of your clients hate you?
It's a love-hate relationship, that's for sure.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, I just had to have some tough talks this morning with a couple of them. So, but they'll be back on Monday.
Right. And all in all, I mean, you've been doing this process for a long time. You've put a lot of people through it. It is thoroughly vetted. It works. Yeah.
I've been doing this for 3 years, and I've never had one person actually say to me, like, I didn't know that was going to roll over, or I forgot, or nothing like that. Never once.
Yeah. Because, and it's in it's in my agreement too. Chris, I can send that over to you. Actually, you have access to it in the MPS stuff.
Yeah, I have it.
All you need to go is tweak it for your 14-day trial and maybe tell them they have 10 days.
Right.
You still have plenty of time to cancel it if you already have it set up. But you put something on there, tell them, look, you have 10 days to decide. If you don't like it, you need to come see. And I make them come see me. They can't send me an email. They can't tell Sue, my admin. They have to come see me to fill out that form that we have here. Because now I have an opportunity to downsell them, Mike, onto the program with the pro diets for the $19.95 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should be noticing that too, Chris, with what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mike, it sounds like that you're doing front-end offers, not unlike what Rick's doing. He's doing the longer ones. You're doing the shorter ones. And then so you're sitting down with them and you do your full sales process with them up front.
Yep.
And then you're basically saying at the end of that conversation, hey, I know you signed up for the 21-day challenge, but based on what we saw today, you're going to need my 3, 6, or 12-month program, and I'll apply that money to that program. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, well, actually, what I tell them is that the only way we even offer this is we have certain billing tiers with our billing company, and for us to get separate tiers is we have to pay extra money for those separate tiers. So essentially, our MR, what I say is that our we can give them the way it's only $99.99 instead of $149 is because we can only discount the program. So what we do is we discount that first payment. We're essentially discounting that first payment. So they pay whatever it is, whether it's 99. This one I'm running right now is 99. We've done some for I can't remember what the heck the last one was that we did. But we did the detox. I think we did the detox for like $29.99. I think it was. And that at the end of those, those 21 days or those 28 days or the first month, it's just going to continue at the regular rate. But I tell them that by signing up today too, I do something similar to Rick, that rate will continue on at like $129.99. If they're not happy for whatever reason, similar to what Rick says, at all during the first 21 days, for whatever reason, or 28 days, all they have to do is let us know and they'll never make another payment again. We're 100% guaranteed that they're going to enjoy it. And every program that we do offer for front-end offers, I have daily emails that go out to them during it. So when those emails go out, they know like that time's coming up. Hey, there's 4 days left in your challenge. And then what I've been doing since then is I've actually, with the Ultimate Supplement Sales, is I've been scheduling another meeting with them at the end of the first month. They get an email to meet with me anyway for just because I want to get feedback. I want to know about their experience. And then I've been using that to now take them from the initial like nutrition program that we put them on coming through, whether it's a detox or whether it's like a 28-day thing or whatever. And then that's when I have the conversation with them about going into pro diets. And then that's when I've also been making my, having my discussions about supplementation as well. And that's where, I think, are you in Ultimate Supplement Sales?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I've been making all that's where I've been making all my sales with Ultimate Supplement Sales, and why I've like, whatever, I've been getting 20 something sales a month is because now it's completely separate. So now instead of having in that first meeting where you're bombarding them with selling them on they came in for 21 days. You sell them on 21 days. Now you sold them on, now you sold them for 12 months worth of training, and now you're going to sell them on supplements. I feel like I tell them I don't want them to be too overloaded. I just want them to get acclimated. We're going to do one step at a time. Change too many variables at one time, it's a recipe for disaster. So we do that. Now they come in and we sit down like, okay, what's your nutrition looking like? And then we go through that process, and then I find the holes in their nutrition and I plug it with the supplements.
Right.
And then we put them onto the pro diets, and we fill the gap with the supplements. And that's how I've been getting them onto the Pro.
Now, by the way, I don't know if you've even looked, Mike, on the website, it shows the combo pack too now, the link to the combo pack.
Oh, really? No, I haven't had a chance to go on at all. I have been gone on much this week in terms of like the social media stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do it in the mobile app. That's too complicated, but we do definitely have it in the website, where now we've got a combo pack of the 3 supplements we promote: the protein, the multivitamin, and the krill oil, where it's a discounted package if they just buy all 3 of them at the same time.
Nice. Hey, Chris, what is the 14-day trial for you? Is that a new FEO, or is that something you've been using for a while?
No, we were talking about shortening the sales cycle for us. We've been doing 30-day trial for quite some time now, probably ever since I moved in my new facility, probably about a year now. We've been doing 30-day trials. So we were just talking about shortening the sales cycle a bit and doing more of a 14-day trial. So that was just an example I was throwing out there. We haven't locked into exactly what we were doing there with that.
I see. Okay, so the 14-day hasn't been tested yet to see. Yeah. All right. What with the 30-day? What were you charging for a 30-day trial?
$79.
And then what do you roll them up to if they join your regular program? What's the monthly?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're talking about possibly shortening it, because there's such a gap. So the lowest price package we have is $210 a month. So
yeah. That's how many months?
For 12 months.
What's your 6 month?
We don't have one. We only have 12-month packages.
Did you ever consider maybe changing to a 6 month? I've got a reason for asking this, buddy.
Yeah, we've been through them all over the years. We've had 3, 6, 12, 18s. We've had them all. So,
do you know what your average client's retention rate is? How long they stay?
Yeah, it's usually at least 2 years or so, about 2 to 3 years probably.
Then I'm going to make a suggestion, because what you just said is the exact same reason I changed my whole business model. I knew that my average client stayed 24 months. Okay. And one thing I noticed was people are just afraid a lot of times of that year commitment. So I went to a straight 6-month commitment. 6 months, my 3 times a week was $169. Instead of having the 12-month, a little bit cheaper, they just weren't afraid to commit. If I know my average client's going to stay with me for 24 months, or in your case, 24 months, the same thing. Why should I be afraid of only locking them in for 6 months, knowing afterwards they're going to stay anyway? And it's really served me a lot better. And then my 6-month rate, when I do that fast action offer, it just works out really well, because like my 6-month rate is $169 a month for 3 days a week. My 6-week challenge is $169 a month. Okay, so one, I know that people can afford my program. I'm not getting the old school Groupon people that are just deal shopping.
Right.
So then when I sit them down and I tell them my program is normally $169 a month, but if you lock this in today, you're going to be saving. I mean, that's all they're hearing are the numbers.
What was the challenge cost again? What'd you say?
The challenge is $169 for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yet my 6-month program is $169 a month for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already looking at it. Oh my God, I'm getting I'm already getting a deal because it's $169 a month for a month, and I'm getting 2 extra weeks. So they're already thinking they're getting a good deal. Now I come back with my fast action offer that if you lock in today, I'm giving you 2 months free. We divide the payments over to 8 months instead of the 6, and it's $126.79 a month instead of $169. All they heard was the numbers in that whole conversation.
Right.
That they're saving, oh my God, I'm saving $40 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But even more importantly, on that agreement, I have two numbers, the $126.75 a month and a month-to-month rate of $199.
Right.
So it's still driving home the great deal they're getting.
Do you actually offer the month-to-month at the higher rate?
Yeah, if somebody only wants to pay it, they're paying the $199 a month. They still have to give me 30 days cancellation notice in that case. So they're going to be there for at least 2 months for $400 instead of having, being halfway through their 6 month for $126.75. Nobody to this day has ever taken the $199 a month.
Yeah, interesting. I that's a great point, and I think that the logic behind what you just said, Rick, regarding the shortening the duration from 12 months to 6 months, if you know your average lifetime of a client is 2 years, the logic there is dead on. But what I think would be best to look at to help you make this decision, Chris, is the actual numbers. Now, for instance, if you, in your sales and when you're selling, say you're closing 80%, the 20% that you lose, are they telling you, hey, I don't want to commit to a full year? Because if that's the objection or the primary objection you're getting, then I agree with what Rick, you should absolutely shorten the duration. However, if the objection if that's never come up as an objection or very rarely comes up, then there might be no need to shorten the duration. Do you follow me?
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I think the biggest problem is that pre-qualification was not being done well enough. So that's where we're starting, is we're going to go back to that, going back to the beginning, first of all, and make sure that they are being pre-qualified first and foremost, because we were losing some people for the term and or for the price, which we know starts at the pre-qualification. So we're going there first.
Is your training, Chris? Is it large group? Is it semi-private? Is it?
It's we have small group and large group.
So the large group is your cheapest one, $210 a month.
Well, large groups, I don't even advertise that, but it's $150 a month. That's
really where we. Yeah. So those challenges I'm talking about, like the 21-day and the 28-day and stuff like that we do as our front end office, those are usually only for our large group. We don't do much for our we've run some 6-week speed, strength, power programs for our athletes, and those, because that's not semi-private, those are like $350 in terms of because I had that same type of, I was concerned about that, like you can't offer it too low, because then when you offer them the real price, they're like, whoa, this is like double. You know what I mean? So I actually used a similar strategy to what Rick did, and did the 6 weeks. So that way, when I offered them the monthly one, the numbers would be a lot closer together. So you're essentially getting them for you're getting them almost the same exact price, but for 2 less weeks. So I did that same thing. But one thing that I found with the 21-day and the 28-day, which was huge for us in terms of the large group, is everybody that comes to large group, they're all weight loss, right? Our semi-private is predominantly athletes, but everybody's about weight loss. We start them on we advertise the front end offers as like a 21-day detox or a 28-day like weight loss program. And by running those programs, even in like the short 21 days, these people are on the nutrition for it and everything, so they lose weight. So they have the option to cancel, right, if they don't want to continue. But because that nutrition is a huge focus of it and the training, they lose weight. And if somebody sees great results in 21 days, you know what I mean? Somebody loses 10 pounds in 21 days, they don't want to leave.
Right.
They don't want to leave.
But then you use your small group as your upsell.
Exactly. You find the ones that kind of come in, and then based upon your discussion with them, like, hey, so one of the women that came in was a marathon runner. She wants to run marathons, and she's training to do the Boston Marathon and all this stuff. I said, I can't in good faith recommend this program to you after what we've talked about. And that's why it's so important that we come here, find out where you want to go and where you're currently at, because we're not one of those facilities that just recommends, oh yeah, you want to train, we're going to give you, anybody does this. No, it's what's best for you. And so in good faith, I can't recommend that. Once we did the movement analysis, and I found all kinds of imbalances with her, and it was just like, okay, well, tell me what I got to do. And I said, okay, we're going to do semi-private, and you're going to beat your time that the best time you've ever run before, guaranteed.
And you actually give them their 20, like they sign up for a 21 day, you actually give them that 21 days on the front side, like Rick does. You don't just sign them up for the year and give them the money from the 21 towards their year. You actually give them the 21.
Right. So so let's say that I had a person in front of me right now. I just signed them up for the 21 days. They paid let's say the 99 one. They paid the $29.99 to come in to meet with me. So we subtract it off. So they make another payment today of $70. And then in 28 days or whatever, the next payment would come out for the regular amount going forward. And it would be every month after that. And then all of our memberships come with auto renew. So they sign up on auto renew too. And I tell them that allows them to keep their rates. It goes month to month after the initial 12 months. And it just becomes out of sight, out of mind, essentially. They don't remember, man, am I coming up on 12 months? It becomes more so like, yeah. Say these rates go up to like $60 a session. It doesn't matter. You're locked in right now, and you don't have to worry about it.
And that's how mine is too. They pay the $169 for the challenge, and that's the price of the challenge. At the end of the challenge, it goes to that $126.75 because that's what they locked in. Now they're happy because to them they're getting a better deal. And after the 8 months, it just rolls over to month, and they don't even think about it. They're a part of the program now. It's ingrained in their habits that they're here 3 days a week. And next thing, they're staying 24, 26 months. Same process, yeah.
Rick, how many of those do you run a year?
Last year, I kind of slacked off because I was concentrating on the other business, but I'll run 6 of them this year. Used to run 8 of them.
And this is your primary lead driver?
Yes. Well, this and, okay, my test drive, which is my evergreen. That's my evergreen lead driver. It's a test drive, which is nothing more than a 6-week challenge, but I keep that going at all times because they can start whenever they want. They don't have to start with a group. And I'll get another 6 to 8 people a month that opt into that I'm talking to, that I get started just right when they sign up. Okay, sign up. We're going to get you on the schedule to start tomorrow. But it's effectively the same program. I just rebranded it.
Have you ever tried to just re-engineer and flip this thing on its head and just for your 6-week program, it's more than anything else, folks? Take a playbook out of Paul Fetter's world, right? His 6-week challenge, or 28-day challenge, 28-day challenge was one of the most expensive things the guy was running at the time. It was like $240 or something, if I recall, and for 28 days. And the objective is to, make a competition out of it. Anyway, then people are more willing to sign up because it gets cheaper than the 28-day program. So
well, mine effectively is too. Mine's effectively cheaper than the 6-week program.
It is because of the way you structure your 8-week little sleight of hand, sleight of mouth, kind of.
My Bengali.
But anyway, I'm just one. I mean, the low end offer, the FEO. I just wonder if it couldn't be a maximum front end offer versus low end. If anybody's had the guts to try this on the top end, making this thing just more expensive, still run the dang challenge, so that when it comes time to renew or sign up, they're getting a deal and they go, dude, I'm going to sign up.
Yeah, we decided to do that. We just decided to do that with our challenges because we were seeing problems with conversion after the challenge. So in this last challenge that we just ran, we made it more expensive than our membership so that it was, more attractive at the time of conversion.
Attaboy. How'd it go?
It went pretty well. So we're going to continue doing that as we move forward. So
how much more was it, Chris?
I think the last one we charged was it was like $249. So it wasn't terribly more, but it was more.
Yeah, no, that's great. And when you raised the price on your FEO on this challenge, did you see your leads drop considerably from your advertising?
We did.
You did.
But they were probably better leads.
Yeah, that was the thought process behind that. Better, more quality leads.
Right. And so ultimately you'd have to look at ROI, just off that 6-week challenge or whatever. Was your ROI as good or better from that the higher priced one as it was from the lower priced one?
Yeah, and I don't have those numbers because they're converting right now this week, so I won't know until next week.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And see, this is really where this is great marketing conversation, because we're talking about numbers and strategy and the tactics that you use to maximize conversions and optimize. And this is the shit right here. And so I want to dig in just on a couple other things, Chris. Well, first of all, I want to make a point, and that is, I think that if you mentioned something about pre-qualification. You said that you've stopped pre-qualing leads, or are you doing it inconsistently, or what? Can you clarify that?
Yeah, we've always pre-qualified, but we need to go back through, update the pre-qualifying script and do some retraining, just to make sure that everything is in there and that things are not being missed.
Yeah. And who does the pre-qual?
My admin.
Okay. So maybe your admin's a gifted salesperson, I don't know, but assuming that he or she is not, at least at your level, because generally admins are not at our level, I would consider very strongly doing what Rick said earlier about shortening the term to 6 months. If you're talking terms in your pre-qual, which I assume you probably are mentioning terms,
right.
Because that 12-month will scare people away. And you don't have the opportunity to do is you talking to them. You could probably overcome that objection, but with your admin talking to them, that might be a deal killer.
Right.
Yeah. So that's something to seriously consider.
Good point.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask Mike, you said that you're getting leads to pay you $29 just to sit down and talk to you.
Yeah, that's how we do our evals. So essentially, when people call to set up let's say they inquire via the Facebook, we're actually, the phone's ringing off the hook here because I'm making a determination now. We got like 70-mile-an-hour winds here. We're trying to determine whether we're going to stay open or not.
Okay. All right.
So I can tell you that real quick.
Yeah.
We charge anybody to come in for an eval, because and I'll tell you what, our show rate is like 100%. We don't have people not show anymore. We used to have, and a lot of fitness professionals deal with this. I know it because I dealt with it for the longest time, where you book an eval and you're worried about your schedule, you're all over the place, and then the person doesn't show up, and they're like, "Oh, sorry about that," or you never hear from them again. So we charge, and it's $29.99. We get all of our people on the phone. In terms of we have some different email stuff that we do, but we get them all on the phone to confirm their assessments, and we explain to them what they're going to be going through. The scripts, I think, are actually in the ROI multiplier that we use, and we charge them for $29.99. We tell them that the money is refunded if they come and they feel like, hey, you know what, that the program's not a good fit for them, or if we decide that the program's not right for them, then we refund the money as well, because not everybody that comes do we feel is actually a good fit to train here. We got to go through the whole strategy session first. And then we do have a few that don't want to pay, but I always say this: if they're not willing to pay $29.99, that's going to get refunded to them when they come in, or it's going to get deducted off their membership. If they're not willing to pay $29.99, they're probably not going to be a very good lead, because they're not going to be able to afford our prices of $100, even over $100. You know what I mean? If they're that leery about we've had a few, but you know what? Those are most likely the people that are going to flake off anyway and not show up, and I don't want to deal with that. So I was nervous about implementing that when we did, but I have to go back and run the numbers. I was like, that's it, we're doing it. I was so tired of being stood up. I was like, that's it, we're implementing it. And now we actually use it in as part of our front-end office and stuff that we get. Sometimes we say we give our assessments typically are $59.99, and we're actually discounting our assessment as well for only $29.99. And it's worked like gold, man. It's worked like gold.
Your assessment is your sales consultation, right?
That, and I mean, we do an in-depth eval on them. So we take them into a PT office that we have here. I mean, we do the functional movement screen. We do a few more things as well. But they go pretty in depth. They're like an hour and a half where I go pretty in depth with them. And I've had a couple people that, have said like, oh, I got to really, I really got to check with my wife. She's going to kill me if I don't check with my wife. And then they're like, but regardless of whatever, after this whole thing, I want you to at least keep the $29.99. But that
was my next question.
I never asked for it back. I've never had, and I know for a fact that it wasn't that long ago. I couldn't remember who the heck it was, but we didn't even get the refund. We forgot to take it off their membership, and couldn't go back and figure out who the heck it was. But they never even asked.
Yeah, that was my next question. How often do you give that back? Because we've been doing the same thing for the very same reason. I don't meet with anybody unless they pay up front. But then if it wasn't a good fit for them and I was going to refer them out to somebody else, then you're having to refund that money, which actually costs us money for the processing, which was a problem.
The way I look at it is if we did it for free, the assessment is just my opportunity to get them in here. I say it's my chance to get them in here. We used to do them for free. So essentially it's like we're doing for free, but we at least got them to show up. So when we did the scheduling, I will tell you, we've had people too that they go, I don't offer, like if they were like, let's say they came in and they didn't want to sign up. They're like, I'm not really sure. I don't think it's a right fit. Or if I told them that, I'm not really quite sure it's a good fit for you. The onus is on them to say, hey, well, how do I get my refund for that assessment? I mean, I tell you, I put my heart and soul into them, man. Like I'm pretty like energetic and passionate. And I mean, the assessments usually go pretty good and they usually leave pretty happy.
I do the same thing on my downsell. Like, remember, Chris, we've talked about it. I know, Mike, you've heard it. When somebody says they can't afford my program, either
guys, give me 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, either on the front end or if they give their 30-day cancellation. Remember, I downsell them onto showing them 5 or 6 exercises and going to give them the nutrition program. Well, if it's on the front end, it's $19.95. I'm getting that up front, and the reason I do it is because now I've gone from a $169 program to a $19.95, where I'm just getting them on the nutrition program. But in order to get them show up, I explain to them, look, I really want to do this and I want to help you, and I'm only going to charge you $19.95, but I do need to get your credit card on this because it is taking the spot of somebody would normally be paying me $169. So if I'm going to leverage my time and I want to help you, then I need to get this up front to make sure you show up for this appointment.
Yeah,
it works every time. Again, you always have to have a story why you're doing something like that. Mine is real simple. Look, I want to help you, and I'm trying to help you, and I want to save you money. However, this is going to take a time out of my schedule that somebody that's normally paying me $169 is paying, and you're only paying $199. So I need to get your credit card for this spot to ensure you show up. And if you don't show up, we are charging you this regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. And dumb businesses go, well, we're doing this because it's our policy. Smart businesses say, have a good story, as you just mentioned, a good reason why. So, Chris.
Remember, as Aaron always says, story sell.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've embraced that. And so whenever I'm trying to sell something, there's always a reason why we are doing it. Because if people understand the reason you're doing it, Chris, it makes it easier for them to accept. If they don't understand your reasoning for it, you're giving them a reason to doubt and to say no.
Right.
Yeah. Chris, you said you're collecting money up front before folks even come in for their initial consult. So that your admin, how does that work? Explain to me how that works.
Yeah, so what we've been doing over the last year is leading off with the trial. So there's kind of like 2 schools of thought, right? It's leading off with the consult or leading off with a trial to build the bridge of trust. And for the last year, we've been leading off with the trial where we've been charging them over the phone $79 for the trial. And then a part of that trial, the first step was sitting down with me for their assessment and their consultation. And so during that time, I would go through the process. Sometimes people would buy on the first day, and I would just apply that $79 that they paid for the trial, which is really paying for my time that day, I would apply that to their enrollment fee for their membership. If not, and they would just go through, if they weren't ready to buy that day, they would just go through the trial. And then I would meet them at the halfway point, see if they wanted to buy then or at the very end, and check in with them as a final time to see if I could get them to convert.
I see. Okay, so you'd have potentially up to 3 bites at the apple to convert this person.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not the most efficient process, but at least you're getting at bats if you
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's interesting. I think that, I mean, you've got a lot to consider here. You've got a lot of input, and I think I think you think it too. It's been valuable. One of the things I'm just intrigued by this, what Mike is doing with this $29 for an assessment to sit down. And it would be interesting to, Mike, are you back? Can you talk just for a quick second?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What are you advertising? What's the offer in the ad that gets people to call to pay this $29?
No, it's whatever we do. So if they reach out to us, like let's say they go through our website and they fill out a form, like I'm interested in sports performance training. Tells them a little bit about yourself. We call them, and at that point we say, okay, it's this is how it starts. This is the process before anybody trains with us. We do X, Y, and Z. For us, we go through all that, and then we say, okay, to schedule the assessment, it's a $29.99 registration fee or whatever. I forget exactly what the script says. $29.99 registration fee. The way that works is that $29.99 reserves your spot so that nobody else gets scheduled for that time. When you come in for this strategy session with Mike, we will either refund the money or we'll take it off your first program that you do here. Kind of how that works.
Right. So, but when you're running Facebook ads, like an FEO or some sort of offer for a challenge or something like that in Facebook, every one of those leads, are they presented with this same $29 opportunity?
Yep. So when they call, so again, we get them on the phone. We say, we got an autoresponder that goes out to them that says, hey, when they fill out the thing, hey, is now a good time to chat? Or let me know when is a good time to chat or something like that. And then my admin calls them, and we say the same thing. Okay, it's they tell them a little bit more about the program. The next step before the program starts is we have to make sure that we go through the screening to make sure that blah 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 all this stuff. The way it works is $29.99 is to reserve the spot for the assessment. That comes off the price, so it'll only be $70 going forward after your strategy session. If we decide it's not a good fit, then we'll refund that $29.99 and you go your own way, essentially. And I have a few, like it was funny it's funny that you bring this up because maybe about a month ago, we had like 3 people in a row that were like, okay, well, I'm going to call, let me I don't have my credit card. Let me call back. Let's just book that spot for me and I'll call back. And we followed up to check in with them and they didn't return the call. And then we had one show up, like said, oh, put me in for Wednesday. I'm going to call back with the credit card. So I was actually kind of aggravated about it because my admin called back like 3 times. Hey, before we can reserve the spot, we need to get the credit card to reserve it for you. And then I was actually in the middle of a training session and this person just shows up at the street and is like, oh, I'm here for my eval. And they're like, we don't have an eval scheduled today. They're like, oh, well, I scheduled one. And I was like, oh, well, what's your name? So brought them out to the admin, like, oh, well, we never got the confirmation. I left you several messages saying we need the confirmation, but we can reschedule. And so they rescheduled and we did it. Cause it's like, I feel like they don't respect your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you let people abuse your time and then they came in, they ended up signing up.
Yeah. Well, on a lot of levels, I love that. I would absolutely test that. I think if I was running a fitness business, I would test that because you're getting a great pre-qualification, the ultimate pre-qual. They're putting their money down. It's great. That way your time is covered if they show up. And it's, you have an opportunity to do the assessment, as you said, which is develop relationship, rapport, prove some value, and then upsell them. I on a lot of levels, I really like that a lot. I think that's clearly a winner. How long have you been doing it?
Probably about 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a winner, then it's proven.
And it's like, so, I mean, we're well known around here, especially for the sports performance and the individualization. I speak a lot about that. We've talked about that in the past. So it's when we kind of have the script laid out that it shows right away in that when our admin is describing what we do, it shows right away that, wait a minute, this is a completely different entity. I'm going to go in there. You're going to leave with a complete roadmap of what you need to be successful. And it's not just going in for a typical tour of the gym and sign up for membership. This is way more in depth.
Yeah.
Mike, do you pre-qualify them for the price of your memberships on the phone before you actually sit down with them?
No. Nope. I don't do that. The only way that happens is if they start asking a lot of questions like, all right, so what is this going to cost me? And I always say, like, honestly, and this is the truth, if they're signing, like, for instance, that woman who signed up for, she did the Facebook ad for the $99 for the MRT. If I would have told her, like, okay, this is going to cost you, $10 a session, and then she comes in here and is really not the right program for her, and then I got to tell her something that's going to cost her $25 a session, she's going to be pissed. So I tell them, like, honestly, for me to tell you what's best for you right now, I'd be doing you a disservice. How can I tell you? How can I tell you if I've never met you? I don't know where you want to go. I don't know where you're at currently. And how am I supposed to do that?
I do the same thing, actually. When they start asking over the phone, well, what's your price after this challenge? I tell them the same thing is, be honest with you, I don't know enough about you yet until we get in here and sit down. Then we can talk more about that. But let's not put the cart before the horse, because that's going to be a disservice to you and to myself.
Yeah, we give them a range at least, because I don't want to sit down with anybody who can't afford my program. So in the past, what I've always done was when they ask that question, I'm going to say, well, our program prices range between $250 and $210 a month. Is there anything within your budget within that range? And at least get a yes within the range that we charge before we'll actually book an appointment with them.
But now let me say one more thing. On my form, it asks them what price range they can afford. And the lowest one is, can they afford something under $199 or less? And every time they pick it, well, I know my 169 is less than that, so I don't have to have that conversation.
Right.
So let me go back and say that too. I do have that on my form, and it has several different ones, and the last one is whatever it takes to get me where I want. But it's like from 199 or up to 199, up to 299, 3, whatever, and then whatever it takes. They always pick the lowest one naturally. Well, I already know my program's less than the 199.
Right.
So that's on my actual form that they're filling out before I even speak to them.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Chris, any follow-up on any of this stuff, or are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good now.
All right, cool. Rick, then just give us an update on what's going on with you, man. And
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the gym, the challenge it's just in the third week. Pretty much we've had one person quit already just because they decided it was too hard for them. They didn't want to eat right. So, good riddance. They asked for their refund, but nobody gets their refunds on our challenges. And I told them that you took a spot at somebody else that could have been in here, so that's not fair to a lot of people, so there's no refunds. But it's going good. I think we'll have a pretty decent conversion rate. Really, most stuff I'm working on, got Chris doing some stuff for me, which is going to be really, really cool what he's doing for Pro Diets. I mean, I'm watching my words because I know we're being recorded. So the nicest way I can say it is it's going to be badass.
Yeah.
He is going in and doing 2-3-minute videos on every single aspect of the mobile app and the software, basically how to showing people how to use it for a great onboarding sequence for people when they come in. He's put together an unbelievable email sequence for it, basically a nurturing wild type sequence for them that we're going to use as a SOP for fitness pros going forward. I mean, it's absolutely badass. I mean,
that's awesome.
I mean, really is. I'm giving him a 5-day trip to Mexico for doing this for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Really am. That's what I offered him because it's just, I've seen it. I've seen what he did already, and it's so good. He just has to go in and basically make it generic, so the rest of the folks in Pro Diets can use it. And in the Ultimate Supplement Sales System, it is that good.
Wow.
I mean, Jason and I saw it, and both of our jaws dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, he sounds better on those videos than he does on these calls.
Oh yeah,
dude, I was impressed. When I listened to that, Chris, man, I was like, holy cow, man, you should be doing like infomercials, dude.
Yeah. You've got that voice, no doubt.
Talk about it. I mean, he did that well, so I'm really excited about that. I mean, I've got obviously other stuff going on with Pro Diets. Getting ready to really start launching stuff. Actually, that was the call I got. I have to get off because what I'm going to start doing, and I'm going to test it first, is I'm going to start doing with our promotion when they do that $1 trial, 30-day trial. Everyone does it. I'm going to give a weekend trip, a 3-day trip to either Vegas or Orlando.
Really?
And see how that goes. Yes.
Yeah. What's the catch to those trips that you offer?
None. No trip. The catch is it's a 3-day trip to either Orlando or Vegas. All they have to pay is the room tax, which is somewhere between $15, $19. They have to use it within 18 months of when they register the trip. They don't have to go sit at any timeshare presentation or anything like that. Just go.
And they have to pay their own way. You're just covering
yes.
Yeah.
I can't be held captive to when somebody decides to go.
Right.
They decide to go over a holiday where air flight's $2,000 or a last-minute trip. So they handle their own airfare. I'm providing the lodging.
See, that's beautiful. Back when I first got into this business in 99, 98 timeframe, I was looking at things we could use as special, like gift with purchase type thing. And I looked into the vacation opportunity because it works so perfectly with the health and fitness. You can say, hey, here's how you reward yourself. 6 weeks in our challenge, and then boom, you reward yourself with this vacation to Hawaii or whatever it is.
That's why I always did my 6-week challenges, lose 20 pounds, and I send you to Vegas.
That's beautiful. You know, on Facebook, I've heard some of the most successful promotions on Facebook have been prize giveaway type things, and you could work something out here, even though you don't even really need it because you can give them away so inexpensively or with no cost. But still, there's a lot you can do with this, is what I'm getting at.
So yeah, the goal is to, like I said, and that's who I call. That's why I had to mute myself. Lady, it's going to be putting together the videos for me. I'm actually going to do one for NPS too as an incentive when they're signing up for my coaching program, 5-day trip to Mexico, like what I'm giving to Chris, as a way to close them. Now, I don't know if I'm going to run that as ads, but it's going to be the feather in my hip pocket to try to close the deal when I'm on the phone with somebody.
Yeah. That's great.
So that's what I'm doing with Pro Diets, and I honestly think in 100 days we can add 100 people to that group just using that promotion.
Yeah,
and that's the goal there. Like I said, getting ready to start using those testimonial videos for NPS. Scott should be getting started with that relatively soon. Working on creating a mini webinar as another way to market and use those videos. Going to do like a little webinar, and then all those videos are going to be the testimonials below it or above it, or the case study, so to speak.
Let me interrupt you. Are you looking also at restructuring the way you're marketing NPS regarding the conversation we had at Pat's thing, at least in terms of making it maybe rolling launches as opposed to open, 24/7?
Well, what I'm looking at doing with NPS is, and I'm revamping the pricing of it to make it more affordable for people. Instead of doing it the way I've been doing it, it's going to be more a one-year membership for $299 a month instead of it's $3,000, either 4 payments of $750 or 10 payments of $375. It's just going to be 1-year agreement, $299 a month.
Great, but also work in some form of urgency, scarcity if you can. You definitely can. So
that's where the trip thing's going to come in. I think is you get signed up signed up within the next 48 hours, I'm giving you that trip to Mexico.
Yeah, that's good. But also I would look at doing, like, if you look at the way Pat, I'm pretty sure, sells his coaching and stuff, is that he only opens it 2 or 3 times a year, I believe. I don't think
some of his programs, some of them are ongoing too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Anyway, we just found so much success with having hard deadlines.
Yeah. And I will do that. I mean, everyone I speak with, you know, look, I'm filling up this program, so you have X amount of date. And if you decide to do it, I'm going to go ahead and throw in this trip for you.
Yeah. Nice. All right.
Something like that. And then I'm working on, you know, well, we're already getting our retargeting set up and everything. I sent my email list over to Scott Rawcliffe, 9,000 people, so we can create a lookalike target from that. So
that's good. I wish I could remember exactly how she said it. I got to get Alicia on a call, but she and I were talking about Facebook advertising the other day, and she was saying that with lookalike audiences, there's a point of diminishing return, and actually where it becomes less advantageous to use a lookalike audience. I don't really understand it exactly, but when she described it to me, I was like, holy shit, that's interesting. So we need to get her to if you talked to her beforehand, maybe ask her about that, because it's interesting.
Yeah. And then we're going to be obviously retargeting people that see the ads and don't necessarily do something. We're going to retarget them to that 101 meal plan lead market that I've had, and then have a one-time offer downsell of the original MPS product for $49.
Yeah.
And then that will cover the cost of the marketing.
Good. So you've got a self-funding promotion. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way it just becomes self-funding, and who cares if I'm spending $3,000 a month on marketing, it's being covered by that downsell.
Right. Right.
And that's the ultimate goal with it. And then, like I said, getting that mini webinar put together, you know, to promote as well, which is similar to what Pat's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's Alicia was telling me about that woman who you used for the branding, and she used, I can't remember her name.
Joanne. Yeah.
Yeah. She said she's doing 6 figures a month with her webinar or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie's doing really well. Actually, that's the next thing. I got to start working on the Fit Pro Business Summit again for this year.
Oh, yeah. Guys, that time again? Wow.
Yeah, it is. And she's going to be one of the persons I'm going to have on it, is Stephanie Joanne. Another one is Kat Sullivan, is my Pinterest girl.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right.
So, you know, and those are things we'll be able to put up in here when I get them too, because I can repurpose that content however we want.
Well, that would be awesome.
Actually, that's what I just did. I think you might have noticed I took all the content from those along with all of my emails and put them in the Nutrition Profit System fan page, not the group, the fan page, and just really loaded that up. And starting next week, I'm going to start taking all of those videos. I'm going to do a weekly video series to my email list of trainers for the next 36 weeks with all those videos from last year's Fit Pro Business Summit, which is going to be one, great content, as you well know, because several of you were in them, and two, it will help lead up to the next one too.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So now all you have to do is schedule in some sleep and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it'll take me probably, I'd say 3 or 4 hours to schedule all those videos every Monday for the next 36 weeks. And that'll be done, all those videos. Then it's just, and I'm gonna back off on the summit this year. I think it's only gonna be 4 days, possibly 5, but 4 days, and I've got some specific themes for each day, which, hold on, I can maybe find them real quick, that I think will serve us really well. Like day one is gonna be getting started, topics like branding, legal stuff your website needs to have, niche, and more. Day 2 is going to be getting seen, like content creation, getting publicity, social media, networking. Day 3, getting paid. Revenue streams, money mindset and management, selling. And day 4 is getting sustainable. How to scale your business, leaving your day job, things like that. And then what I'm hoping for on day 5 is try to get all of the presenters, and we have a live roundtable that people can come on to the Facebook Live and onto the Zoom and ask any of them questions.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. I like it.
That's something nobody's done.
No, that's neat. Yeah.
And since I've already, you know, I've got the Zoom platform where we're on this Zoom, but it goes Facebook Live, so we can do it as a live Facebook stream and have the people that spoke as presenters on it, and other people can come in and ask them questions, so they can get their questions answered individually by whichever one of the presenter they want to talk to.
That's cool. That's
effectively
cool.
Be a massive coaching call like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see there's the potential issues with that, but I think there's also a potential big upside with it. So it'd be neat. It hasn't been done. It'd be cool. I like the way you're segmenting the content into certain specific days too. I think that's.
Yeah. And that'll only be 4 days this year. And then that 5th day to try to do it like this.
Yeah.
It would basically be a coaching call like this. Imagine a coaching call like this, and all of a sudden you've got every single member in the referral challenge on here.
Yeah.
That's effectively what it would be.
Yeah.
And the program I'm paying for, I can have up to 500 people on Zoom.
Right. It would be neat. I think, you know, logistically, you're going to have to plan ahead how you're going to make that thing work, because otherwise it'll be a free-for-all and it'll go crazy.
Yeah, there will be.
You can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a situation. I mean, we'll figure out how to do it, how to control people, just like how we do here. We can mute people until somebody raises their hand, then we open it up and they can ask their question.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can do that whole raise your hand and all that stuff in here.
Right, right.
So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about doing that this year. It may not take as much work except for that last day.
Yeah, you might want to consider having people submit questions beforehand, just for some more order, and maybe the last 30 minutes where you open it up or something. I don't know. You'll figure that out. We got to get going though. It sounds awesome, Rick. You got 1,001 things on your plate as usual. Like I said, I don't know when you sleep, but I know that you do because you're not a vampire. So, all right, guys. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I got to roll. We're going to shut it down for now. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Facebook.
Was I getting on with one of you guys afterwards?
We can if you want to chat.